ladies and gentlemen of the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast, audience, and whoever, if you've stumbled upon this, we're on a pretty momentous week in wrestling, and I just want to take a second to point out some of the unsung heroes that have been getting the shaft for a long time, but deserve a lot of recognition. The women of across the wrestling world here, and in no particular order, I just want to go ahead and list off some of these wonderful inspirations to me. Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, Brie Bella, Nikki Bella, Charlie Caruso, Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, Maria Kanellis, Renee Young, the entire Riot Squad, Sasha Banks, Stephanie McMahon, Asuka, Bayley, the Iconics, Carmella, Kairi Sane, Kayla Braxton, Lana, Maurice, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, Zelina Vega, Paige Aaliyah, Bianca Belair, Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Diana Perusa, Io Shirai, Casey Catanzaro, Mia Yim, Rhea Ripley, Tainara Conti, I'm going to mispronounce this one, Ela Dawn over in NXT UK, Kaylee Ray, Toni Storm, Zaya Brookside. Let's not forget some of the women of the past, Tori Wilson, Stacy Keibler, Candice Michelle, Lita, and AJ Lee, and Trish Stratus. And then some of the ones that you're going to come to know here in AEW, like Allie, Bea Priestley, Brandy Rhodes, Leva Bates, Penelope Ford, Sadie Gibbs, and last but not least, Dr. Britt Baker. I want to just say, from the bottom of my heart, I would.
You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver. What the hell is that? Podcast.
Well, if you're still listening after that amazing cold open, then God bless you. This is Tiger Bomb.
Uppercut?
Uppercut!
Sure. Wow. Way to fucking roll that. Whoa. Let's cut it. No, I'm joking. This is Tiger Bomb Tom. Welcome to the P3 podcast. We are down one man, but I'm going to do my best to invoke the spirit of one Alec Ransom here. And so I'll say, as I'm introducing people, this person can die in a tire fire. He's the worst, and he can suck it all day long. Beef the Legend, how are you tonight?
Hey, everybody. I'm pretty...
That's great. Nobody cares.
Wow, that was wildly accurate.
I know, right? No, but how are you?
Pretty excited to talk about this week wrestling because fucking last night's Raw was just abysmal. So we're all looking forward to that.
Now, I will preface all this. By the way, I am... Since
wait,
Tom...
wait.
Oh, wait, no. You know what, Tom? You're invoking the spirit of Ransom. Right now, the advocate for my advocate is going to speak. Go ahead.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tiger Bomb Tom. And I'm the advocate. And I'm the advocate invoking one Mr. Alec Ransom, who is the advocate for your reigning, defending, undisputed cruiserweight champion of the P3 podcast, Poot the Bard.
Baby, yes I am still, whether by hook or by crook, your reigning, defending, undisputed cruiserweight champion of the P3 podcast. And it's going to come to an end eventually, but by God, what a ride.
Hey, before we get too far into this, let's go ahead and thank our wonderful sponsors. Definitely want to thank and continue to plug IWC Clearfield X on Saturday night, October the 20th. If I could remember,
Wait,
Handsome
what?
Hank.
No,
October
12th, buddy.
You're the worst.
12th.
The 20th.
Yeah, I know, right?
You're the worst.
The
Worst.
12th, yes, I know. Saturday night, October the 12th. If I could remember the old Handsome Hank, the Hank Hudson routine, I would invoke that. But my years are beyond me. So,
Handsome Hardcore Hank the Tank Hudson.
Yes, sir. Legend of independent wrestling. But should be a great night of action for real. We've talked about ad nauseum. So talk to Sean, get some tickets. Visit the IWC website. Get your tickets there. Just get tickets, man. Show up.
Hey, boys.
And show out.
Hey, boys, guess what?
What's up?
I have our tickets.
Woohoo!
Yes, boys. I've got it.
Hooray!
We got our
will
tickets.
actually be there.
It's going to be a
I'm
good
ready.
time. By the way, just to let you guys know, and I will say this on the podcast, you may very well get to meet the lady friend that has been eating up Poot the Bard's time.
Ooh.
You might. That's a heavy might. But you might.
Does she listen to the Does she listen to the podcast?
Oh, for Christ's sake, no.
For Christ's sake, no.
Then I could probably get away with saying that she might be eating more of Poot the Bard than his time. How you doing?
Oh,
Hey.
wow. Yeah,
We'd also like to thank
you're securing
our
the
own
fact
resident-
I'm never going to get laid ever again. Just like my family
yeah.
sabotaging and never going to have grandkids. Go on, Beef.
We would also like to thank our wonderful co-host of the podcast here, Mr. Tiger
Uppercut.
Bomb Tom, and his wonderful work over at the Casual Gaming Dad channel on Facebook. I guess not really a channel; it's more of a page. But you know, it's a corner of the page. It is a fucking lifestyle.
It is. I'll tell you what. It's a Facebook page. It's a YouTube channel. It's a Twitch channel. So it's a page and a channel. Why
It
not?
is everything that you want it to be at any time. Check him out, because I know that you can not only check out his live stuff there, but you can also go back and watch videos of the past.
Hell yeah.
And he's
Don't
always got a
limit
lot of
yourself.
great stuff. Exactly. He's always got a lot of great stuff going on. So
I'll tell you what,
check
man.
him out on that.
I'm loving your South Park playthrough, buddy.
Oh, dude, I'm actually, believe it or not. So right before you came in, Beef was talking about how he was going into some Fallout, and I was just like, well, screw it. I'm gonna kill some time and do a little side questing and grinding here. So that's actually
and then
what
I appeared out of nowhere.
And then you appeared out of nowhere. But you know what? I still got the game on, and I can multitask.
Apparently,
okay.
Poot the Bar was doing a little bit of side questing and grinding too. How you doing?
Hey!
Yeah, okay. So, you know what? We might as well throw this out before we get into the meat of Raw and stuff like that, because I know it's a little bit later than we normally record the podcast. Not for you folks listening right now, but, you know, for when we're recording it. So one of the things that we talked about doing here on the P3 podcast was doing an episode of the podcast where we talk about ourselves, you know, our interests and, you know, what we do and who we are. You know what I mean? Aside from the characters who tell you to go pay $49.99, you dumb bastards. By the way, $49.99, you fucking idiots. Pay us.
Yeah, where the
pay
hell
it
is
right
it?
now. Go
up.
on to. Oh, by the way, the other I would say, can we say side influencer? Because I don't think sponsors right. Gould Gaming.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you know what? And actually, I'm before I forget, I'm gonna confirm right now whether or not those are up on my up on the section. But yeah, a big.
I've just been treating Gold Gaming like a sponsor all along, because he's giving us some bitchin' T-shirts, and I want to make sure we're throwing his name out there. So.
Well, we.
But yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll thank.
Take a look at that while I ramble.
I was gonna say I'll thank Gould Gaming, because they are my sponsors here, and want to thank them for doing the custom order for our Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast T-shirts, and I'm about to see if they have already put them up in my section or not. So you're gonna get an answer here in just a second.
Well, I'll tell you what, like, the T-shirts are great. I wore it today. I had some people ask about the podcast where I went, and it was really cool. Like, I was like, yeah, it's my podcast. You know, and I'm Poot the Bard, and you can go ahead and listen. It's really cool if you're a wrestling fan. But the thing is, we talked about doing an episode where we talk about ourselves, like the actual people and our interests. And one of mine is guitars. I love gear. I love guitar gear, and I work on them. I repair them.
I love Lamp.
What?
I love Lamp.
And I love Lamp.
I had to. Sorry,
and
go
I
ahead.
build, like, I am in the process of a build from scratch, like raw pieces of lumber and making a build. And one of the things I said I do, I repair. People bring me their guitars to fix, and I do that, and I actually, you know, get paid money to do that. And I was sitting over there. One of my weakest things is wiring, and I was over there wiring a guitar that's very complicated, and I was beating my head against the wall, and I have to get it done. So even after the podcast is done, I got to go back over there and try and finish it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It's
Well, and,
almost
to-
done. It's
to-
almost right. It's like super close.
I was gonna say with a half broken hand now.
Oh yeah, that's
To-
the other. Oh, you saw that on my Snapchat, huh?
No. Well.
Oh no,
you
I bought a
told me.
belt sander, and I literally took off. You know what? I'll send you a picture, and you can take a look at it. But go
I'll
on.
see- okay,
I'm rambling. Go on, Beef. Take over.
Yeah, so but before we really jump into it, yeah, to expand on what Pittsburgh was saying, we are going to be doing an old-fashioned
AMA.
Ask Me Anything. Yeah, AMA, Ask Me Anything. So what we're trying and what we're thinking about doing is the Saturday that we come up for when we all get together for the Clearfield IWC show, which is on, that's a tongue twister, which is on Saturday, October the 12th.
Yes.
Not the Silver Dome, brother. But October the 12th.
That's awesome.
Wow.
So, yeah, right. So we're really thinking of kind of throwing them out on that day. So we're gonna pin a post of Facebook for where you can ask questions. Feel free to drop them on Twitter at Piledriver. Feel free to drop them in our email, Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast at gmail.com. You know, we have an Instagram now. I don't have that readily available because I'm an idiot and my wife runs it.
It's Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast. If you
yeah.
search it separately or all one word, it should come up.
Feel free to drop it there, man. Like, just give us some stuff. And of course, this is going to be a live show, so anything can and probably will happen. So feel free to pop in and drop questions.
Live
as we're
sex
doing it as well.
celebration.
Hopefully not at the establishment we're thinking of having it. So yeah.
I just had to throw it out there because I always find a way to weasel in a live sex celebration reference, and I didn't last week, and I was sorely disappointed in myself. So
you did,
I had to.
yeah, you did.
No, you did.
Oh yeah, it was me who did it. That's right.
You did. Yeah.
Oh yeah. By the way, check out our Facebook chat. So okay, I'm gonna admit right now, I did not get to watch Raw. I have been very busy. And also
busy sanding your fucking fingers off. Jesus.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, by the way, when you buy a belt sander and it comes with 80 grit sandpaper on it, be fucking careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it literally, that result that you guys are looking at, and I will try and remember to put a picture up of it right here. That result was from probably about maybe 3/4 of a second on the belt sander.
Oof.
Yeah. Then what was the point? Then what was the point of sanding your face off? Go on, Pooch.
Well, you know, I mean, reasons. Anyway, so I didn't watch Raw this week. I've been very busy, but I have watched some reviews of it, read some reviews of it, and man, I'll tell you what, Beef. You're not wrong when you said it was a shit show, because apparently they're doing a double cuck angle. They're doing like some weird, like Seth Rollins versus Rusev, like fucking. There's gonna be a tag match at the next Saudi Blood Money show,
So
United States Championship. Like fucking, what is happening on Raw?
So I will preface this by saying I didn't watch Raw in totality. I didn't even watch Raw in half-tality. I was watching the Steelers game last night, as I expect most of you listening probably were doing as well, because it is the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast, and the Steelers are the city. That being said, I did try to keep at least a little bit of a finger to the pulse of it. So what we got were 3 title matches, of which I think were reasonable contenders that were more or less buried. The fucking Cedric Alexander thing continues to happen. Why, I don't know. And the thing I'm talking about is not him being pushed. It's the fact that they push him and they immediately fucking withdraw like a fucking turtle into the shell. That notwithstanding, because I get it, it's television. They're going to save title changes for pay-per-views, although it would have been a great TV moment to have at least one title change on your season premiere. I digress. The problem with Raw was two things. First of all, this fucking blood money show. I think we're all over it. I really, truly do. I don't think anybody in this hemisphere too much gives two shits about it. I think that there are some people who watch it. I think that there are some people who will enjoy it. Go ahead.
Well, no, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I think the thing with the Saudi Arabia shows is, like, it's not a bell curve. It's like a half a bell curve. Because, like, what happened was the first time they did it, there was a shit ton of hype because it was, like, breaking ground. You know what I mean? It was a big deal that they were doing this. And the first one, although not good, it, like, set a precedent for possible positivity. Right? Yeah, okay, they couldn't have women on the show. There are some boundaries that had to be set that were unfortunate. But it was a step in a quote-unquote, and I'm using this term loosely in retrospect, right direction. Can we agree on that at the time?
In principle.
In principle, at the time. But wait, I'm not done.
Go ahead.
The next one, the hype was less because there was not much change. Then the one after that, because there have been 3, correct? There have been 3.
Yes, yeah.
The third
Crown Jewel, Best
Crown
in the
Jewel,
World.
The greatest,
then,
greatest Royal Rumble. Greatest Royal Rumble, Crown Jewel, and then another Crown Jewel.
In either way.
Whatever. There
Anyway.
have been 3 so far. But my point was, at first, it's this positive thing that was happening. Then you're like, well, not much has changed, and it's like a house show, and it's kind of weird, but, I mean, good could come out of it. And then the last one, it was like, oh, WWE is accepting blood money. Yeah, okay. Now we get what's going on. So subsequent ones from there, and also attendance for the last one was apparently abysmal.
Yeah, way down.
It was.
Here's the thing that kills the Saudi shows for me, and I haven't really hit my point yet about Raw, but we're talking about Saudi, so I'm gonna stay on that. And I think you're confusing the one show was in Australia. The Super Showdown was in Australia.
Yes, Super Showdown.
Sorry,
you're right. You are absolutely correct.
That was a different thing, but it was the same fucking thing, which was a glorified house show. That was my big problem with the first Saudi show. It was and that they have been since. Glorified house shows, no title changes, no real like substance to them. It just felt like a big extended episode of Raw. But the problem with it is that okay, great, you know, we're talking about ingratiating another culture into our own. Awesome, we need more of that in this world. And then that dude got killed over there. That reporter got killed, and everybody's like, "Ooh."
That just came back into
out.
the media, by the way.
Yeah, they're like, "Ooh, WWE should pull out of that." Ooh, Vince should pull out, and he didn't. And everybody's like, "Ah." So it was never about. Yeah, it was never about culture. It was never about westernizing or easternizing anything. It was about the fucking blank check that he was receiving.
Do you know how fucking good it would have made them look if he would have pulled out of that show?
Exactly. Yep. And that furthers the point that we were talking about last week with the whole Muhammad Hassan stuff. So just goes to show you where his loyalty lies is in his pocketbook. But
so the bottom line here with I'm sorry, I'm wrapping up my point. I promise, Tom. Okay. So the problem one with last night's Raw is they're setting up this 5-on-5 match in Saudi Arabia. Team Hogan versus Flair. I don't fucking care. That's a good spot for those two because they can't fucking ruin anything. Okay, great. But okay, that's a good point, Tom.
Well, I got a point on that after you're done making this point as far as whole Team Hogan, Team Flair thing.
There's plenty to talk about on Raw, so I'm sure we'll circle back. But here's the thing: it is fucking October officially. Next month is Survivor Series, which will be theoretically headlined by a 5-on-5 match. I missed the beginning of Raw. or no, I missed the start of that segment, the Miss TV segment. So I thought they were talking about Survivor Series. It was only after reading some more results that I'm like, wait, that's for the Saudi show? Why the fuck are they booking a 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series tag team match at not Survivor Series? Anybody?
No good reason. Yeah.
Bueller? Nothing. There's no good reason. You're 100% right. There's no fucking good reason. Go ahead, Tom.
So my point was just going to be that if they were smart, the way they could have, they honestly, they shouldn't even use Seth Rollins and Randy Orton and whoever else they're going to use at this point. You want to talk about doing something and making a big difference. Now, I know they can't do this because it's going to be a crown jewel, and you can't use women, but ones that would have been better suited for that as the captains, captain of Team Flair, Charlotte, obviously, captain of Team Hogan, Becky Lynch. Can you imagine the rub that all those female superstars would get from, being there with the likes of Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair? Can you imagine how much that would do for some of them getting that rub? Like, look at somebody like, even though she's currently a champion, Bayley. Of the 4 horsewomen, quote unquote, Bayley is like kind of low woman on the totem pole there. That could do something really good for her. So I think they definitely missed the ball. They should have waited until Survivor Series. I agree with you on that. And I think that would have been a better suited thing for them, was to to go that route instead of Seth Rollins and Randy Orton, whoever the hell else they're going to use.
Absolutely.
Yep. But that was my point I was going to make, was just that about using the women.
And the biggest problem with Raw last night was the end. So you have Seth Rollins versus Rusev.
Yeah.
What Cuckold City?
Yeah. So first of all, let me talk about. So I like Rey Mysterio. I like the idea of Rey Mysterio. I don't like the idea of Rey Mysterio in a title match in 2019, but I get it. So I understand, asterisk card subject to change. But why though? Like, was Rey injured?
I told you last week why. It was all a vehicle to get the Fiend out there. That's exactly what it was, and it's exactly what it turned out to be.
Speaking of which, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Bleacher Report just to go back over Raw, because I did look at it just so I knew what I was talking about. This is the best thing Bleacher Report could have said. They gave the final segment, which was Universal Championship Seth Rollins versus Rusev. They gave it a C-. This is BleacherReport.com.
That's fucking generous.
Wait, ready? The analysis quote is the best thing in the world. Ready? Rollins and Rusev were having a solid title match together before it all went bad. Rusev and Lana are a strong pairing that did not need to be broken up. The last time this happened, it was an absolute mess. Remember Dolph Ziggler? And Lashley isn't going to elevate it. Certainly not with his baby voice and fucking no charisma. All that was added by me. Here's the last quote that made me laugh super hard. This should not have closed the show. Luckily, Bray Wyatt turned out the lights and reminded everyone what really matters.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
Spot the fuck on.
My God, that was so good. That was so good.
When he's choking Rollins out saying, die! Oh my. That's...
Right?
So you go, from two ends of the spectrum. So a lot of people seem to think that this whole cuckold thing might be a Heyman shtick because of what Canales is doing.
I don't know, man. I don't feel like this is Heyman. He's too
I'm
clever
telling
for
you,
that.
And I was telling Tom this earlier, this feels like it's good shit to me. This feels like Vince saying this is going to be great. So here's the thing. Here's my problem. First of all, Bobby Lashley. I thought he was going to be out 17 months or whatever, and he's back in 2. Thank God. I was so worried that the ratings would tank without Bobby Lashley on my team.
I even said this. I said this to Beef before we started recording. I was like, I didn't even realize that Bobby Lashley was injured. I thought they just weren't using him because fuck him. Who cares? So either way,
Second of all, this is as far as I can remember, Rusev's first real opportunity at a heavyweight belt. I could be wrong about that.
You're not
I don't
at
think
a
you're wrong.
proper heavyweight belt. Yes.
Yeah, because
Yes,
he's
not-
only been
The big belt. Yes.
Yeah,
because
like
he's only
Uni,
he's been
Uni or
US champion.
WWE, right?
Right.
So this, I don't think was the so. Point A: why take Ray out? Or if you know you're going to take Ray out, why put him in that position to begin with? Why not put Rusev there last week so that you can at least plug it for this week? I'm okay with the Lesnar attack on Ray. That's fine. Whatever. But the whole bait and switch thing bugs me, and it always has, and it always will. B, this was not a proper vehicle to do this. You have Rusev in his first, honest to God, big time spotlight since he faced John Cena, which was great until it wasn't. And this last night was the same thing. It was great until it wasn't. You have fucking Cardboard Lashley come out.
No.
And then fucking missed spot. He stood there. It felt like 4 minutes. It was probably closer to like an actual minute and a half, like gesturing to the back. And everybody's like, oh man. Even Vic Joseph said, you know what, it may have been Dio, I'm not sure. But yeah, one of them even said, oh, I think I know what's going on, to fucking sell it because somebody missed a cue. And then out comes Lana. Okay. We've done this before, whatever. But then it's a fucking like softcore porn on television. Like they are console hockey city.
I
can remember softcore porn from back in the day. Trust me, that was wannabe softcore porn.
Same see doodles. No, like
Skinamax on VHS, people.
I saw the clip. What was more compelling than the forced tonsil hockey that was going on at the top of the stage was fucking Rusev's reaction. Dude, he sold it so well.
I don't think it's a sell job. Do you remember the episode of The Simpsons where Ralph takes Lisa Simpson out to the Krusty show, and she like tells him that she has no interest in him at all, and like Bart's watching it back at home and like is going through slow motion. You can see his exact moment where you can see his heart break.
You mean the episode called Poot's Life? Yeah.
Exactly. I choose you. Like in Bart's going, you can see the exact moment where his heart breaks. You can do that last night with Rusev. You can say what you will about stage kisses and whatnot, and I get it that if you're an actor, it's part of the thing.
And it's a sucky part of the thing. No matter what actor you ask, it's a shitty part of it. But
man, like you're taking a guy who a year and a half ago was over more than any of your current champions currently are, Becky Lynch included, and you are shoveling the stinkiest fucking shit in the world, like straight out of Taco Bell, right onto a Kaiser roll for him. And you're saying, "Here you go, man."
Sorry, that's a very descriptive statement there. Sorry.
I mean, it is the biggest load of horse shit that not only are you forcing this stupid, overdone, melodramatic, fucking awful angle on him and Lana, and even, God help me, Lashley. But then you are forcing him to stand there and watch it and do nothing about it. Not like go berserk and go up and kick Bobby Lashley's ass, but force him to sit there and watch it.
Yep.
Which begs the question, if you're Rusev, we constantly like to speculate on people's contracts. Because now that AEW is a thing, it's proven that there are greener pastures out there. Even if AEW has not said greener pasture, now you have NWA saying, hey, we got a show. You have MLW saying, hey, we got a show.
You got MLW back on Tuesdays. I'm just saying, there are options.
Yes.
No, there's tons of them. There's tons of them.
More people are coming up now because of the success that AEW is having.
Clearfield's an option.
What's that?
IWC Clearfield's an option.
Oh, yeah.
I hear what you're saying, but like it feels like there are more real options now. So you have a hot free agent like Rusev. Why? Or I mean, and this beckons back to the revival and the back shaving thing. Like, these guys are guys who could potentially go. They're charismatic fucking bombshells that could go and do some really good stuff somewhere else. Why are you forcing this kind of shit onto them?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a really, it begs the question. I'll tell you what though. I mean, we could go on and on and on about Raw until the cows come home. But I want to shift the focus a little bit to something a little bit more positive.
All right.
Being that it aired after we recorded the podcast, none of us got a chance to watch it at that point. How about this past week's NXT? That's not the reaction I was hoping for.
No, I didn't,
but
dude. I hate being an asshole. I didn't catch it either, man. I've been busy.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right.
I feel bad because normally I'm on top of shit.
How you doing?
Hey,
all right, beef. All right. Okay, beef. All right. Okay, beef. All right, beef. Okay, beef.
So, yes, Tom, you're right. NXT was great last week, and it was a huge step up than what it was the previous week.
Yeah, I was gonna say it definitely. Now, I personally didn't really have much of a problem at all with week one like Beef did, but Beef and I were talking about it beforehand, and I know he said that he definitely enjoyed this week's a lot more. And I gotta say, man, Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic, hell of a match. If nothing else, Poot, if you don't get to watch the full episode, just watch that opening match. Just watch the opening and up through that match.
No,
that's all you need.
I watched their first one and I loved it a lot.
This one's really good too.
I mean, the
second one, 3 weeks ago, was better than the first one. I think this one last week was better than the second one. Yeah, I mean, it was, it's very clear that NXT is something special. But I'm going to be the guy that's shitting on all the Wheaties tonight, I'll be honest. But, I mean, to me, whenever you're going up against, and we'll see how it all plays out tomorrow night. I'm very excited. But AEW is going to feel a lot like Raw, or Nitro, if you will, to draw a comparison. Because you're going to have a big arena full of, thousands of screaming people. We're talking about our fans that are actually going to be there and actually chant and not be on their hands, versus a percentage of that. And I'm talking about a tenth of that. Hundreds of fans at full set. The problem with NXT is never going to be the product. NXT is great. Whether you watch NXT, the weekly serial, whether you watch NXT TakeOver. NXT, the product, is always going to speak for itself. But until you get that product out in front of more people are going to be slower to adjust to it. And it's going to draw less eyes than AEW because it is a smaller venue.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Tom. My point's really quick.
Okay. I
don't think that the size of the venue matters. I think at that point what they're relying on is name recognition and talent. Now, hear me out. AEW has a lot of talent that is known. The Bucks, Jericho, Kenny Omega, okay? And there are some guys that are known by like really, really big indie marks like Joey Janela, Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, the LAX. Like, okay, like, stick with me here. Yeah, the LAX is a big one. That was kind of a coup, but really, I mean, not nothing against these talents, because I think they're going to do an amazing job and they're going to give a fight. But think about Keith Lee, Dijakovic, or what Adam Cole can do, or what The Dream can do, or what Roderick Strong can do, or what any of the women's roster can do. Like, NXT is established. You know what you're going to get with them. You're not, I'm sorry, going to get a bad product with NXT. Even on their bad days, they're better than a lot of wrestling programming. Seriously, They are. Like, you can go ahead and make that argument that they're not, but they are. AEW, despite the talent that they have that has name recognition, they got a long way to go. The internal combustion engine, neither internal nor combustible. You two, discuss.
All I was going to say is I kind of agree with you. Well, partially, you brought up one point that I hadn't thought of, was the name recognition. But I was just going to say that, and this kind of goes to a little bit to what Beef was saying, is that, you know, you look at Raw and look at SmackDown, and you could have, close to 20,000 people, but how many of them are sitting on their hands? That's the one thing with NXT. There may only be, under 1,000 people in there or whatever. There may only be like 500 some people or whatever, but they are rabid fans. Like, they are there. They are ready to roll. They put out so much energy, and I'm sure that AEW is going to have, quite a few themselves. And they're going to have the advantage because they're going to be in a larger venue than NXT. But still, that I have never, like Poot said, I've never seen an NXT show that even on its worst day was worse than a Raw or SmackDown. So AEW is going to have a big uphill battle in that case, in that regard, and not only for the name recognition and stuff like that, because we don't know what we're getting out of AEW just yet. The lack of experience. How many of the guys on AEW roster have done weekly live
had this
TV?
Big time shot, right?
Like Jericho, Moxley, Cody. That's pretty much it. You want to technically count Brandy, but not really. She didn't really get into the swing of things. But really, those three, I mean, those are the only ones that have done live, weekly, episodic TV. So I mean, it's a big learning curve for them. And I'm not saying that they're gonna completely flop the first week, but I'm just saying that I feel like NXT still has a decidedly slightly a slight advantage over AEW. But that said, I got to ask you guys. I think we've talked about it before. I myself, I'm going to be watching AEW tomorrow night just because it's the first, the inaugural episode launch. Afterwards, I think personally what I'm going to do, it's going to be card depending whether I watch NXT or whether I watch AEW. And Beef and I were talking about it. I'm not going to go like flip flop back and forth because I want to be able to give my attention to one show that week and then just watch whatever on the DVR afterwards or the next morning. But I got to say, this week I'm watching AEW for sure. What about you fellas? Beef, what are you going to be watching?
Yeah. Before you swoop in, Poop, my point is not necessarily about the in-ring product, because I think that both shows are going to give us a very similar in-ring product. And I believe that because, yes, there are guys who the Smarks will know. But if you're a casual wrestling fan and you hit NXT, you're not going to know anybody. But you hit on TNT, you're going to see Chris Jericho. You're going to see Cody Rhodes. You're going to see Dean Ambrose, John Moxley. You're going to see the faces that you know, and you're going to, I didn't know where that guy ended up. The eye test is important, and here's why. I treat wrestling like sports, and God help me, that's probably a huge mistake. But I do treat wrestling like sports. On a Saturday, you have a bevy of college football games to watch. ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN News, ABC, Fox, FS1.
ESPN 8, the Ocho.
The Ocho.
Right, you are calling.
Literally, you have literally 8 to 9 games at any given time that you can kind of zoom in and on watch. You know how I make my decision? Not by the matchups. I kind of look at the stadiums to see which ones are the most packed, because I know that that's going to give me the fun atmosphere. And if I hit a stadium that has like a AA team or like an FCS team, which is like a lower rank than the regular college football, and it's like half empty, or there are way less fans, I'm like, that's not as an exciting game. Even though I could watch a blowout, a 35-3 blowout versus like a 21-20 game.
You're a blowout
because it's
Sorry.
a better
Where
because
did
it's
that
a better
come from?
crowd.
That was Ransom again.
Because it's a better crowd. And I think that again, I'm talking about casual eyes on product, because let's be honest, the smarks are going to watch both shows. They're going to watch NXT, they're going to watch AEW. It's just a matter of which one is recorded, which one is not. We're not kidding ourselves there.
Well, I think...
When I'm talking about casual fans, whenever they're flipping channels, you're going to see a little product, and this is kind of what ECW ran into back in the 90s. They didn't have, you can make a whole lot of comparisons from ECW and NXT and AEW and WCW. And yes, ECW was the far better product, but WCW consistently got better ratings overall.
Huh?
Consistently more better.
You heard me.
Wow. English major. Go on.
But to answer your question, Tom, I'm watching AEW tomorrow as well, because I think that, I have no reason to believe that NXT is not going to be the same as Raw, where they're teasing 3 title matches, but we get 0 changes. Now, I think that we probably will get at least 1 change. I really do believe that.
Ooh. And you know what? And on that note, we do have some predictions to get to tonight as well.
Not tonight, we don't. No, we do not.
I thought we were going to do them, and then okay, well,
no, because here's the thing, Tom. We're looking at a compressed show tonight anyway. Thank you, Food.
Sorry.
We're kind of up fans. Sorry, but we're kind of up against a time crunch. So I was figuring we can just say the predictions for our own videos later on in the week. That way, we actually know the Hell in a Cell card and can predict some of this other stuff. We can talk a little bit about predictions if you want, because we do have some matches tomorrow night. But I don't want to spend time on that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Fair enough.
Just to put a pin in what you were talking about, Beef. I think what you're saying is, no, joking aside, you said like the eye test, what's the better product, but what has the better, like recognition and stuff. I really feel like the casual fan, the problem is WWE as a brand is so pervasive that no matter what they put out, you're going to recognize it as the upper echelon of sports entertainment and wrestling. Even if it is not as good as AEW, which who knows? NXT, man, I'll tell you what, if it was any other product WWE puts out, I'd be like, oh, AEW wins. But NXT is so good. I feel like because NXT is a WWE brand, I don't really know a lot about this, but I know WWE puts out a historically good brand. This AEW, they're new, but the shine can really wear off that quick. Like, the new hot thing. I mean, my God, you see it with like, how often have you seen in your area if a new restaurant, bar, or whatever, something of that ilk opens? Yep. It's the hot thing right away. People love it. People go there. It's busy all the time. Then after a month and a half, what happens?
It tapers off.
It tapers off. And then what happens is how you mitigate that taper off is how it determines what's going to happen with your brand, no matter how big or small it is. So AEW out of the gate is going to come out swinging. Everybody and their brother who's a wrestling fan is going to be watching AEW tomorrow night. And they're going to DVR NXT because historically people probably went, oh, NXT's live, or, it goes quote unquote live on Wednesdays. I'll watch it Thursday. That predilection is already there. So what you're going to do is you're going to watch AEW live and then watch NXT the next day because that's how you've been conditioned. So what AEW has to do is make sure that quick month and a half, 2 months of hot, heavy viewing is
giggity.
Yeah, right. Oh wait, no, that hot, heavy viewing that they have, is taken care of, after the fact and mitigated so that they maintain. They will have a drop off, but as long as they can stop the bottom of that drop off and just maintain, that's how well they're going to do. That's my final thought.
So speaking of, let's talk about AEW maintaining, because they've already announced the main event for Full Gear, unless Jericho loses the title, is going to be Cody versus Jericho. So,
do you see them pulling that swerve?
What, Jericho losing? No, because
Definitely
I think that they're trying to distance themselves from what WWE has consistently done in the past, which is hot-shotting titles. Now, they've gotten better. To be fair, they have gotten better.
To be fair.
Damn you, Beef.
But, that being said, I think that they are going to be very much... The feel I get is that it's going to be much more kind of sport-oriented, which is great. But, that being said, you cannot cut your nose off your face to spite it. I don't know that Jericho versus Cody is your money match at your, let's be honest, your first big pay-per-view as a brand. Now, yes, I understand that was kind of All Out, but I mean, again, realistically, All Out didn't have TV build-up. Full Gear will. So, to me, I feel like your money matchup is going to be Jericho versus Kenny Omega. And I feel like a double turn would really work. That I think that you get Jericho as kind of like the grizzled veteran, and you get Kenny Omega as the cocky young heel. And if you work that angle, I think that the payoff would be really, really good.
Well,
but that's just my 2 cents.
In any case, I don't see Jericho dropping the title before the pay-per-view because, and why I picked him at All Out to win was, and it was a hard decision. It really was. I really thought that they were going to put it on Page, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized, you're starting TV. You need that name recognition. You need that star power to kind of carry you through the first month or two. That's going to be Jericho. So regardless of who he faces at the at the pay-per-view event in November, is that November? Yeah, November.
Yeah. Yep.
He's not losing it before then. That's the one thing I was going to say. But yeah, it's gonna be a really big week here. A lot of title changes or a lot of title opportunities, not title changes. The only title changes I think that are going to happen this week on TV, I believe, is going to be the NXT Women's Championship and then the WWE Championship.
Ooh, wow.
So before we start talking, kind of, because we're getting kind of in a prediction mode, and that's fine. I have no problem.
That's all I'm gonna say on that.
The weeklies. So I have no idea. I have no problem doing like a weekly prediction, but I think we should save our Hell in a Cell predictions for later on this week.
Well, we're wrong.
That would be a non-title match, boys.
Well, wait.
Match?
Wait, I thought we were.
Come on.
No, I thought for this week here, since it was like kind of a historic week, I thought we were rolling that all into one card, like all these.
That's what I thought too, because there are some championship matches going on.
Yeah.
Are we hearing that the Cruiserweight champion doesn't want to defend his title?
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Someone who is not the most longest and most reigns is complaining from down there in the dirt while I'm up in my tower. Oh.
Anyway, while you think about that, and while you ponder that, Poot the Magnificent, let me talk to you because I am very much focused on AEW this week because I think that it is a historic week for them. So let's talk about the women's title match. Is Nyla Rose and versus oh
Riho.
My goodness, what was her first? Riho, yes.
Yeah.
So how do you guys feel about Nyla Rose being in the women's title match?
Well, okay.
I know where you're going with this.
I know where he's.
This is our political topic for the night. I'm kind of taking Ransom stead here.
I am going to make my peace with this, and then I'm going to let you two talk it out.
Okay.
I think that it is progressive. I think that it is something that AEW is silently using to kind of forward their thing, because they have not, and I think this is very appropriate and very, very strategic. They have not made it very public that Nyla Rose is a transgender superstar. They have not made that the focus of her character. They've been like, you're part of the women's division, you're going to wrestle as a woman, and that's been it. And I think they're setting a standard, or they're trying to set a standard, and good on them. Like, I mean, that's fine. You do you. I feel like these kind of things, the fact that we're looking to have a political discussion, like a light political discussion on this, is telling of their motives. I think that Nyla Rose is going to be put over because of that. Is that good? Is that bad? That's for you to decide on your own. I feel like that's an individual decision. But I really feel like, looking at it strictly from a pure wrestling standpoint, look at Nyla Rose, look at Riho. If Nyla Rose does not win, it's not believable. I understand you have the David versus Goliath effect. And that can be, the underdog going into the match and winning or losing, and it can be a really good story. But I feel like it would behoove them to put it on Nyla Rose, not for any political reasons or not to make any kind of statements, but because Nyla Rose can walk the walk and talk the talk and make that be like, man, who's going to knock her off her pedestal? Frankly, down the road, and maybe I'm biased, it should be Pittsburgh's own Britt Baker.
Baby.
But that's what I have to say about that. I like looking at it purely from a wrestling standpoint. Nyla Rose has to win that match, because it doesn't make sense if she doesn't.
You and I are on the same page, Poot, and I just to kind of jump a little bit further off of that. Yeah, I agree. Nyla Rose, even I didn't even know that she was transgender until
they didn't make a big deal out of it. I didn't either initially.
And in this case, when it comes to wrestling, when it comes to professional wrestling, i.e. sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it, pro wrestling like this, like WWE and AEW, it shouldn't matter if somebody is or not, just the same way it shouldn't matter their sexual orientation, anything like that. Now, if we're talking about if she's combat fighting like UFC, or if she's playing some sort of professional sports like football or something like that, then yes, it makes a difference, because argue whatever you want. If you're a hardcore conservative or hardcore liberal out there or whatever, if you're a snowflake, I don't care. I don't give a shit. But basic biology.
I'm a raindrop.
But well, you're many things. But anyways, So, basic biology, men and women are naturally built a little bit differently. Typically, men have a little bit more upper body strength, a little bit more broader in the shoulders, and with women, it's vice versa. So there is a physical advantage if you were a man that got a sex change and became a woman. You still have that genetically, you have that predisposition to a certain genetic makeup and a certain body type, body frame. And typically, I'm going to say, men are a little bit physically stronger than women in a typical sense, just because we naturally have that upper body strength and everything. However, let it be known, I'm in no way, shape, or form implying that I'm tougher than some of the female wrestlers out there or anything like that, because fucking Britt Baker or Rhea Ripley or even Io Shirai would probably tear my ass apart. From here to Kingdom Come. Yeah, I'd like it. Anyways,
they would.
Tom would.
They would. I would. I'm pretty sure all of them, the ones that I just mentioned, were actually on my list. Anyways, I digress. It's in this case, it shouldn't matter, and I don't think it will matter. I don't think they're gonna make a big deal out of it, and nor should they. And even just like you were saying, from a wrestling standpoint, I see Nyla Rose going over, and I see Britt Baker being the one to kind of, knock the queen off the throne there when the time comes. So that's my 2 cents on it.
So here's my thing, and thanks for playing ball, Tom. You were looking, you were smelling what I was putting down. You kind of sidestep it, but that's okay. It's a touchy subject. So I'll be honest.
Always giving your champ the shit. I get it, buddy.
Always. So here's the thing. I had no idea that she was a transgender athlete until after All Out. I don't know why I was searching for her. It may have been for research on the show. But I typed her name into Google.
Transgender porn fetish?
No, not at all. I typed her name into Google, and it came up Nyla Rose.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Exactly.
And it came up Nyla Rose transgender, and I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
And so I read the Wikipedia article, and I'm like, huh?
Because I think you were the one that brought it up to us, were you not?
I was, yes. Yeah. So, and that in and of itself is a great thing. That, we are to the point in society now where we can not have labels and just see her as a woman athlete. And Tom, I'm right there with you, man. Like, this, because it is a scripted thing. It is. I have no problem with her being where she is, and I have, I think it will be historic when she wins. I don't know if she'll win on Wednesday, but when she wins, it will be historic. But I don't think that AEW will tout that at all. I don't think that Tony Khan will tout that at all. I think that, like you said, Poot, it's going to be kind of a subverted thing. Like, it's going to be under the radar, and like a lot of people
they're
are going to
normalize it.
Right. A lot of people are going to be saying, "Hey, man, that's really cool," and I think that's what AEW is doing the best at right now. Is they're making a lot of people say, "That's really cool," because they're bringing in so many different facets. Look at the inclusiveness that they're using.
Yeah.
Look at the things.
I was going to say, even though I don't think any of us could really stand them, I mean, they found a place for Marco Stunt, kind of, in a way.
Exactly. And I mean, like, look at what they did with, and forgive me, I'm not familiar with that UK promotion, but the one that was advertising guys like Joseph Connors, Ligero, etc., and WWE pulled them because of that incident with the referee that happened not too long ago. And I apologize because that's a lot of references that some of you may not know if you're not hardcore wrestling fans.
Yeah, I'm lost.
Short,
I'm lost on
okay.
a few myself, anyway.
So long story short,
that promotion, by the way, was it was called WCPW, and then it was called not Evolve. What was it? It was but it was WCPW.
We're belaboring the point. Anyway, so what happened is here's the long story short. A wrestler, right? A wrestler basically went into business for himself on a referee. The referee had no idea it was coming. The promotion had no idea it was coming. Okay. The referee, the guy basically went ham on him, and the fans thought it was a legit like part of the show, but it was not. Yeah. He was literally beating the shit out of the referee, and it the promotion that I'm thinking of is basically going out of business because of WWE NXT UK, more or less, but. They were not associated with that particular event, but I think they have connections with that particular wrestler. So WWE, in the efforts of protecting the brand, pulled their NXT UK athletes out of that show, which is a shitty move, being that it was basically the last show. So Cody Rhodes said, "Hold on, we got this," and he's going to perform. And he's sending over 2 or 3 others, and I forget exactly the lineup that he's sending over, but he's basically lending some AEW wrestlers over to that show, saying, "Hey man, NXT UK fucked you over? No problem, I got you." And people are going, "That's cool." That's what AEW is doing right now, and I think that's going to be largely what they do that's going to make them successful. They're going to be a product that puts out there enough stuff that if something isn't your cup of tea, and we've talked about this before, if something's not your cup of tea, the next match might be. So there's going to be so much that's going to be so diverse. I'm certainly looking forward to it.
That's all well and good, and I think that's amazing that they did that, where they filled that gap. But the problem with that is goodwill. It's one of those things that you have to be really careful how you dole it out, and this might be me being jaded from. When you do good things without expecting anything in return, people tend to take advantage of it or view you in a way that's like, oh, they're doing this, or they judge you. If you're doing it because you're like, wow, that's shitty, all right, let's help them fix this. And you're doing it literally because you're like, all right, let's help them do this. We have the means, we have the talent, we have the ability. But the problem is then people go, oh, so yeah, you're doing this because you want the views. You don't actually give a shit. When you do give a shit, but you can't convince them because then anything you do is motivated by good press or bad press. You know what I mean? You kind of have to be careful of that, because then everyone will start questioning your motives. But that's a whole different can of worms, I guess.
So I want to... Since we kind of got a little bit of a late jump on things, I want to kind of push things along, because I know we're not doing predictions or whatever, and we're going to do those in individual videos later on throughout the week.
What are we predicting?
So here was the thought, Poot. Hell in a Cell is being very guarded right now, as they've only announced 3 matches.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, well, let's put together kind of a smattering, because we have 5 title matches this week.
Yeah.
We have 3 on NXT, 1 on AEW, and then 1 on Friday Night SmackDown.
Wow.
That we know about.
So do we want to do those, and then we'll do the rest of the Hell in the Cell predictions via individual videos?
I think that'd be perfect. What do you say, Poot? Are you up for the challenge, sir?
I like how Beef's just trying to fish for the championship. That's what he's doing.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. It was my idea to roll this, just because I figured with Hell in the Cell, with how little matches there were.
You know what? Fuck it. I've always said every single time I'm fighting champion. Let's do it. Even if I'm going in blind because I'm busy with other things. I am.
Other things.
Well, other things. Actually, seriously, like joking aside, a lot of it's been guitar work. Like seriously,
no, I believe that,
which is awesome. I'm super happy about that. But
that's
like,
good.
no, let's do it. I'm a fighting champion.
Okay.
I'll go for it.
And here's the thing too. The other reason with it being, like I said, Hell in the Cell, like Beef said, is being very guarded. There's only 3 matches, and let's be honest, when it comes to that particular pay-per-view, I think we're probably going to be picking pretty close to the same across the board. So
says you.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out.
Pitter patter. Hey, pitter patter. Let's get at her.
Pitter patter. Let's get at her.
Right.
So, you know what? Beef, why don't you start us off? The first match I got here on the list is the NXT Women's Championship. Shayna Baszler defending against Candice LeRae. Who you got?
But it's such a wonderful story if Candice wins, huh? I'm picking Shayna.
All right. I'm next to pick, and don't say I didn't tell you so, but if there's got to be at least one title change out of those 3, I feel, because I feel like NXT needs to do something quote unquote big. The fact that they're having, all these title matches anyways on their show is big in of itself, but I got to say, I think they're gonna finally pull the trigger, and I think Candice LeRae is gonna take this one.
Think they're gonna pull it on TV, huh? Wow.
I think so. Honestly, I think. I don't know. I just feel like the time is now, and then that gives you a vehicle to either have Shayna take it back and become the first ever 3-time women's champion, or have Io Shirai restart her angle with Candice, or whoever. Doesn't matter. Rhea Ripley for that matter. So that's what I'm going with Candice LeRae on this one.
If anybody takes that belt off of Shayna, it's going to be Rhea Ripley. I'm going with Shayna.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is her brutality.
I'm not gonna lie. I do want Rhea Ripley to take it off of Baszler. However, being the fact that she's just not involved right now, I don't know. They brought Rhea Ripley in kind of looking like a little bit of a face, but then if the last match that she just had, she was kind of a little bit heelish.
Yeah, but it all serves her character, man. Like, she's the cool heel. Like, she's the heel you cheer for. She's her character inherently is fucking mean. Like that's the thing. Is like,
let's not forget about Bianca Belair in the mix there too.
Well, we can.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
She's sniffing around, but anyways.
Wow.
All right. So
I like, she's good in the ring. I'm just not a fan. I can't explain it.
Okay, no problem. All right, let's see. NXT Tag Team Championships, Undisputed Era defending against Street Profits. I am up to pick first, and I'm going with the Undisputed Era, baby.
Oh man, Tom, you know what? I'm gonna agree with you because your pick is Undisputed.
Yep.
Oh man, Red Dragon. It's way too soon to take those titles off them again.
Oh, agreed.
And plus, I think the Profits are eventually going to end up on Raw. So no, yeah, give me the Undisputed Era.
They're busy being the fucking Greek chorus of WWE.
Yep.
That is true.
All right, and then last but certainly not least, the NXT Championship, Adam Cole, Bebe, versus Matt Riddle. And speaking of Bebe, Poot, you're up to pick first.
Dude, okay, look, I think it's erroneous at this point to have Matt Riddle. I love Matt Riddle, don't get me wrong. And he's believable because he was a legit like MMA fighter and everything. It's erroneous to take it off of Adam Cole at this point. I'm going with Adam Cole, baby.
I pretty much already put us down across the board for Adam Cole. Is that a correct assumption, Beef?
That is not, sir.
What?
You can strike my name.
Wow.
You want to talk about getting viewers on TV? You want to talk about pulling the viewers from the big show, the show that has all the fans watching?
Adam Cole, huh?
You do it by hot potatoing your title on the first episode, on the first official real big episode. I got Matt Riddle, man, and I think,
wow,
God help me, I think that Adam Cole is bound for other things. I think the Undisputed Era will follow in tow at some point, but I think that Adam Cole is probably headed for the bigs.
Interesting. Okay, well, I was fucking nowhere near Albuquerque. All right. Damn. All right. This one, the inaugural AEW Women's Championship, Riho versus Nyla Rose. Beef, who you got?
Who indeed? Nyla's the smart pick. We just spent about 15 minutes talking about it, how it would make a lot of big headlines, which is, again, what you want as a burgeoning promotion. You want to get your name out there. But I'm telling you, man, like, if I had to pick an MVP of the women's division, it would probably be Riho. Not to say that Nyla's not talented, because she's super talented, and she's, like, the definition of, like, what a larger woman should be when in the ring. She reminds me a lot of Keith Lee, honestly.
Okay.
But I just,
Is she the champ you see?
I think that Kenny Omega has enough pull in the back that he is really going to make Joshi Wrestling big, or going to try to make Joshi Wrestling big in the States. And,
right.
I mean, right now, I got to pick Riho.
Okay, so you're going Riho. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I'm going with Nyla Rose, as mentioned before. And Poot's going with Nyla Rose as well. All right. This one should be a no-brainer. I'm up first to pick the WWE Championship. Kofi Kingston versus Brock Lesnar. And this is on the debut episode of Friday Night SmackDown on Fox. Brock Lesnar all the way. I don't see how you could go with anything but Brock Lesnar. Poot, who do you have?
Oh. Can I use championships?
No, sir.
Pass.
No, sir.
Man, I'll tell you what. I've stuck with Kofi, and it's worked. But man, Fox loves Bork Laser, and Bork Laser is back, like, in spades because of the big fat fucking check that Fox cuts.
Yep.
I'm going with Bork Laser, man.
All right, Beef, who you got?
Let me pen a scenario for you, if you will.
No.
Right.
No, just give us a pick.
Well, so here's the thing.
I'm channeling Ransom. Just pick a goddamn person, Beef.
My pick is Lesnar, but it would not shock me if they go and they have Ray come out and interfere in the match, or Dominic come out and interfere in the match, cost Lesnar the match, or if they go something out of fucking this world and have a guy like Goldberg or fucking
shut your whore mouth. No,
come
I'm just
out and cost the match.
No. Shut your mouth with Goldberg right there. Nope.
Okay.
All right. Do we want to pick the 3 matches that are announced for Hell in a Cell now, or do we want to just wait?
No, let's save them for our own personal views. Plus, it'll get hits on the webpage. Check out our Facebook page, and maybe if we get swifty, we might put them on the Instagram as well, with our own personal videos, or for our picks on Hell in a Cell. Yeah, probably going to be done on Saturday, I would say.
Well, I would say as long as we have them done by noon on Sunday, I think we're good.
Oh fuck, guys.
Right.
So, giving us a little time, or do we want to pick a little bit later? I mean, I don't care. It's not like it's the end of the world. It's not like
Hell
we
in
have
the Cell's this Sunday.
Yeah, it's this Sunday.
Yeah, I've been that far out of the loop, man. I've been that far.
There's 3 matches announced. So that's why I'm saying after SmackDown, we should know all of the card, or at least most of the card. So at that point, we can at least make educated guesses.
Yeah. So what do you say? Like, you want to have them in by like a certain time on Sunday?
What do you say, champ?
I say we have to have them in. What time does the event, the actual proper event, start? 7.
7.
They have to be in by 6:59.
Well, don't forget there's gonna probably be a pre-show. So I mean, you might want to get it in before the pre-show. Even.
Well, yeah, 6:59.
Well, no, if there's a match on the card,
let me ask you a question.
On the pre-show.
Who gives a fuck about the pre-show? No. Okay. Well, then we'll say how about 4 p.m. Sunday.
Sounds good to me.
Go.
Okay. And that said, let's real quick, let's move on to some hot tag trivia. If we
thank the sponsors first.
We certainly can.
Nah.
Why don't you take it, Mr. The Bard? You like to talk, so go right ahead.
I certainly can. I want to thank our very own Mr. Tiger.
Uppercut.
Bomb Tom. Wow, I'm sorry, we're thanking you, Tom.
I'm channeling Ransom. No,
look, you want someone to channel Ransom? I'll fucking do it right now. I'll fucking do it. I'm gonna go climb a tree. I'm gonna fall out of it. I'm gonna hurt myself. I'm gonna drink a beer. I'm gonna there. How about that? I love you, Ransom. We miss you very much, buddy. I hope you're doing okay off doing whatever insane people do.
Doing the Lord's work.
Doing the Lord's work. Yes, that's anytime any of us is not available on a podcast, we're off doing the Lord's work.
Okay, to be fair, I think the Jack in the Back. To be fair.
You're all awful. Anyway, go on.
To be fair, Ransom I think posted those pictures of him meeting the fake NWO. So I think the Jack might be out of the box on that. So
Jack is out of the box.
Ransom is off with his PIM particles, discovering the NWO. So, we do miss you, buddy.
We do miss you. But, no, thank you very much, Tiger Bomb Tom, Casual Gaming Dad on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. Check him out. His streams are amazing. And he is such a great supporter, along with his sponsor, and now subsequently in a weird kiss your cousin kind of way, our sponsor, Gould Gaming.
That's a very good description. Oh, and by the way,
yes.
the P3 shirts are not up in my section yet, so I'll talk to Taylor tomorrow about that and make sure they get up there ASAP.
You get your very own P3 podcast shirt. And also, Beef, I'm going to hand it over to you to thank Mr. Sean Tischler.
Because I did such a great job with it earlier. We definitely want to thank Sean Tischler and his work that he has done with the local independent scene of Central Pennsylvania, specifically bringing IWC into the fold. The show on October the 12th, that's right, October the 12th, not the 20th, brother. The show on October the 12th is going to be the 10-year anniversary of when IWC first rolled into town. And he had a lot to do with that. He has a lot to do with most of the indie stuff that comes through Central Pennsylvania. So definitely give him a shout. Drum some business up for him. Talk to him for some tickets, for VIP tickets for ringside, and for general admission as well. You can also purchase the general admission at the door. You can also pick up your tickets on the IWC website as well for Clearfield X. We are super excited to be in the throng of the Clearfieldians there. So yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That sounds dirty. Anyways, speaking of dirty deeds and dirty things, let's get to some hot tag trivia. Fellas, do you mind if I have a preference of who I asked this week?
I would like to ask Beef just because he has a better knowledge. Like he's more ingrained in the question that I have. Like,
okay, that's fine.
No offense. Like it really is. Also, do we have a Stump the Chumps?
I say we save that for next week.
But we can save it for next week. Yes, sir.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Because Ransom is the chumpiest of all the chumps of us all.
Wow.
All right, so if Poot's asking me, that means I'm asking Tom and Tom's asking Poot.
All right. Go ahead and lead it off, Poot, because I'm going to close that one out.
So, Beef. Independent wrestling is amazing, and IWC Clearfield is amazing. I, unfortunately, every single time Sean Tischler, the man himself, or my buddy Steve Kirsch got a hold of me to say, hey, you want to go see the show? I had something going on. Whether it was championship things or music-related fantasticness, I always could not go. Or come to see you dum-dums, by the way. I missed a couple shows because I was coming to see you idiots. Anyway, there have been a lot of very famous, now famous wrestlers who are involved in NXT, some in AEW, some on WWE main roster who have come through IWC Clearfield. I'm going to give you 4 names, Beef. I want you to tell me which one of these wrestlers has not appeared at an IWC Clearfield show. You ready?
Ooh, okay.
The 4 names are Johnny Gargano, Elias, Keith Lee, and Facade.
Oh,
Facade for sure has been there.
I was gonna say I'm sorry. I got excited for a second. I actually got to work like Facade was a client of mine actually a little while back.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
He'll be at the show, by the way, on
Yes, he will.
on the 12th. He will.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'll be awesome. Hopefully he remembers who the hell I am.
So
you can interview
Facade
him.
certainly has been there before. Elias, I think, is a slam dunk because he's a Pittsburgh guy, and it wouldn't shock me if he was
he, though?
with an IWC. He is.
Look at you trying to plant reasonable doubt.
Keith Lee and Gargano, that's a toughie, because Gargano's been in NXT for a long time, but it hasn't been 10 years, that's for sure. And he's a Cleveland guy, which is pretty much Pittsburgh adjacent, more or less. They work the same routes. I don't know enough about Keith Lee to be educated about it. Now, you're talking about just specifically IWC Clearfield shows, right?
Yes. IWC Clearfield shows. Your 4 choices are Facade, Keith Lee, Elias, and Johnny Gargano, who has not appeared at an IWC Clearfield show.
So I had no idea that those others 3 had been to an IWC Clearfield show, which shows you to go out and see the show on October the 12th, because you never know what you're going to see. I will say the one who has not been there was Keith Lee.
You are absolutely correct. Very good. Very good logic, by the way.
Yes, very good, reasonable deduction. I thought it was going to be a trick question. You were going to say, "Ha, surprise! They all have been."
No, I actually, when I met up with Sean today, to chit chat, and pick up our tickets.
Yes.
I was talking to him, and he was telling me about some of the people that came through, and I was sitting here. I'm like, Gargano was in Clearfield? What?
Yeah.
How did I not fucking know Gargano was in Clearfield? Well, at the time, though, I didn't know who Johnny Gargano was.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean?
No, nobody knew who Johnny Wrestler was.
I really was not ingrained in this heavy in wrestling. So, you know, and I asked him, I literally asked him, I said, "Do you ever have Keith Lee here?" And he goes, "No, we never got Keith Lee in." And I asked them the next question I asked him, I said, all these guys who come in, these independent guys, I said, like, are they as nice as they seem, or are they assholes? He goes, "Dude, every single one of them are super fucking nice." He said, like, they're all nice. He said, like, people he said nowadays in the wrestling industry on the independent promotions, people who are assholes don't last.
I believe it.
Yeah, he told me, he's like, straight up, anyone who has an ego or anyone who's a shithead, they don't last. He said, like, everyone is super nice and super gracious and everything. So good on you, Beef. Good logic. I'm proud of you, buddy.
That may have been the first, like, tag trivia that I've gotten right in a long time. So it's been a hot minute. All right, so it is the season. We are moving right along into the spoopy season, the Hallow Thankmas season, which is coming up on Survivor Series, which is a great event, a very historic event. I'm going to dial it back to the original Survivor Series, which I believe was 1989. So the term traditional Survivor Series match indicates that it is typically a 5-on-5, sometimes a 4-on-4, some cases a 10-on-10 match. I want you to tell me how many traditional Survivor Series matches there were at the first Survivor Series, how many non-traditional Survivor Series matches there were, and who was the sole survivor in the main event of the first.
Don't know. Not going to waste your time. Pass.
All right.
Let's move along.
So I will tell you the participants of the main event.
Don't care.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
I care, Beef.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The participants were.
I'll say there was one traditional Survivor Series event. It was probably the main event, but other than that, I couldn't give you shit. Like I have no idea.
So the main event was Andre the Giant, Butch Reed, King Kong Bundy, One Man Gang, and Rick Rude with Bobby Heenan and Slick versus Bam Bam Bigelow, Don Morocco, Hulk Hogan, Ken Patera, and Paul Orndorff. Who was the sole survivor in that match? And there was, I will tell you that there was one sole survivor.
Well, I mean, you said the first Survivor Series was 89?
Yes, 87. Sorry, 87.
Oh, then my gut would say Hogan.
You're wrong on both accounts, Poot.
Okay.
I had a text from my coworker. What could you run that by me one more time?
How many traditional Survivor Series matches were there on the card at Survivor Series 1987, which was the first? And who was the sole survivor in the main event? Which featured Andre the Giant, Butch Reed, King Kong Bundy, One Man Gang, Rick Rude, versus Bam Bam Bigelow, Don Morocco, Hulk Hogan, Ken Patera, and Paul Orndorff.
3 and Don Morocco.
Poot, you're close. There were actually 4 traditional Survivor Series matches on the card that evening, and that's all there were. There were no other matches, and it looks like it was about an hour and a half worth of wrestling. So it shows you where we come from. So that's why they're traditional Survivor Series, because that's all there was at the first one. And the sole survivor of the match was Andre the Giant.
I wanted to say Andre, but I'm like, that's too obvious. But all right, Tom, put me out of my misery.
All right, I'll put you out of your misery and send us home for the night. So, like I had alluded to at the beginning of the podcast with my intro, talking about all these amazing women who I would. Let's talk about the 4 horsewomen of the WWE. So this is, in Ransom fashion, this is a 2-parter. Of the 4 horsewomen, that being, for those who may not be privy, and I don't know why, but Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Becky Lynch. Which one of those 4 was the first women's Triple Crown winner and Grand Slam champion?
Wow.
Are they 2 different people or the same?
I don't know. You tell me.
Fuck. Run that by me one more time. That's a lot to take in.
Of the 4 horsewomen,
which is Bayley, Charlotte
Sasha
Flair,
Banks,
Sasha Banks,
and Becky.
And Becky.
Who was the first women's Triple Crown champion / Grand Slam champion?
It's going to bite me in the ass because I feel like the obvious answer is Charlotte, but I'm going to go with Bayley.
You are correct.
Yes.
Yes, because she would have been the as far as the Grand Slam champion, she would be it because she got the tag titles with Sasha. Sasha has never been SmackDown Women's Champion yet.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I was thinking Sasha, but yeah. When was Bayley? Oh, that's right, with the whole Alexa Bliss thing. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And that's the weird thing is
so...
we talk about Bayley. You mentioned Bayley being on the low woman on the totem pole, as they say. But
yep.
I mean, she's the one who's the most decorated.
And
yet they've done such a disservice to her career.
Well, goddamn right they have.
Well, I digress. We'll get to that in a second. Now, here's the part 2.
Part 2, huh?
Part 2. Okay, of all of their, and by meaning them collectively, all 4 of those women, I want the number of singles titles championships that they've held collectively.
Good
all
God,
together.
Tom.
Yep.
You mean a total number?
Yep.
Including NXT?
Yes. From NXT all the way up to current.
Fuck.
Singles titles. Don't count the tag titles.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 11.
Oh God.
That's way low. That's way low.
Is that way low?
Way
That's
low.
way
All right, can I try again since it's so low? Can I try again? That was just a gut check reaction. Can I give another shot?
Nah, go ahead.
All right. Oh, wow.
But it's not going to count. Not that we're really counting for anything anyways, but, it's not going to count.
26.
You were a little bit closer in that ballpark. The answer would have been...
No. Let me hazard a guess here.
Listen, we don't have time for you to sit there and nerd flex beef. Come on now.
36. 36.
No, way too high. 22. All right.
I was close.
Oh, okay.
Because Charlotte Flair has been NXT champion once. She was Divas champion once when that turned into the women's title or whatever. Then she was Raw champion 4 times, and that first one of the Raw women's title was when she was women's champion after they changed that belt over, and they had created the SmackDown Women's Championship. Anyways, 4 Raw championships, 4 SmackDown championships. Sasha Banks, 1 NXT Women's Championship, 4 Raw title championships. Bayley, 1 NXT, 1 Raw, 1 SmackDown. Like I said, low woman on the totem pole. Though she was the first Grand Slam and Triple Crown winner, she's only had 1 run with each one of those belts so far, and the SmackDown one being her current one. And then Becky has had 1 Raw Women's Championship and 3 SmackDown Women's Championships. So there you go. 22 singles titles between the 4 of them.
Wow, son of a bitch. They're very decorated. Guys, this has been a pretty laid-back, chill episode.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me send this home, if I may.
Yeah.
So I've been pretty salty tonight. I've been pretty upset, pretty pissed off about what Raw was. But we need to focus. And again, I've kind of been hitting this point home since like May, that we're in a wonderful time right now. If you look at your TV guide, you're going to see Raw on Monday, Impact on Tuesday on Access. You're going to see AEW and NXT on Wednesday. You're going to see there's something on Thursday, and I don't know what it is. And then you're going to see
Raw, I think.
SmackDown on Friday. I think Raw was on like Saturdays. But I mean, and plus you got, like I said, all these other ones like MLW, NWA coming out with their series now. There's a lot going on, and it's all positive, man. Like, good wrestling is good wrestling. That's the bottom line. And while we're not going to agree with everything, like this is a historic week and a historic time, and we didn't even talk about the CM Punk screen test with Fox.
Let's
John
leave
Morrison,
that alone.
John Morrison being signed ? To WWE. There's a ton of stuff that we didn't even talk about tonight. So
I know we
there's,
did. There's been a lot of good news this week. Also, I would like to thank Beef the Legend for going ahead and being the advocate for the Swan Song this week.
You're welcome. But
I'm joking.
For real, though,
again, joking aside. Seriously, it's really good. This is a good week to be a pro wrestling fan.
And we're going to have plenty more to talk about next week whenever we come back. And hopefully we will be a 4-man unit once again, the 4 horsemen of the podcasting world. But until then, I hope you all have a wonderful night. And for myself, and for Mr. Beef the Legend, and for your reigning... What's that?
I said rock on.
Okay. And for your reigning, defending, undisputed, cruiserweight champion of the P3 podcast, Poot the Bard, baby. This is Tiger Bomb Tom saying, have a good night, and we'll see you next time.
Also for Alec Ransom, $49.99, you motherfuckers.
I'll kill you.